7 mistakes to avoid while writing your research paper or thesis, or for that reason any academic writing. The first mistake is using personal nouns, too many of them. Remember, what are personal nouns like I, me, you, us? These are all called personal nouns. If you use excessively these type of personal nouns in your research paper or thesis, remember that is not at all fair, and you must avoid using excessively unless and it's very urgent. Or okay, for example, you interviewed some people about some classroom management techniques. Now remember, you can mention that as a general thing, but don't try to fill it up all the research with personal nouns. It's not acceptable. So avoid all the personal nouns. And secondly, the second mistake to avoid while writing research paper is using directives. Remember, avoid directives, because what are directives? First of all, directives means do this, do that, bring this, have that. All these things are called directives. You are directing the reader to do something that is not at all allowed. Do not direct the reader to do this compulsorily. Don't direct. Research paper, thesis writing, academic writing is not something that you direct something. Don't use them too many. um, you can you can be, see, remember, you can give evidence based recommendations for that's okay, but otherwise don't use too many directives. The third mistake to avoid while writing research paper: using informal conversational tone, or using slangs, or using idioms. Avoid all these things, especially slangs. Maybe there are some slangs locally famous slangs, but whereas other country people may not understand your slang. So that is why uh, do not use local slangs in research paper, because it may be that particular English word may be used locally in your place but not in other countries or other places, regional dialects. So that is why use standard English, that which can be understood internationally, and every country should understand that type of English. Okay, use standard English. So avoid informal conversations, slangs and all. And next mistake to avoid while writing research paper is wordiness. Remember, this is really daunting nowadays. People write research paper for the sake of filling, for the sake of getting number of words in thesis or a research paper. And what they do, they confuse the reader with too many confusing words, unnecessary words, ambiguity, and rewriting again and again the same word. So wordiness, be straightforward in your research paper. While writing research paper or thesis, be straightforward. Try to interpret it directly, and to eliminate the possibility of misinterpretation, because you want to convey something. Because of too many wordings, because of ambiguity, because of confusing words, the reader will understand it differently what you want him to understand. So misinterpretation happens with unnecessary wording. So avoid these things in your research paper. Next, vague expressions. Avoid vague expressions like they, that company, this school, this organization, that people. See, when you use these type of vague expressions in research paper, this becomes like problematic, because they lack context and specificity. So it is not like a research oriented. So reduce those things, vague expressions here and there, once or twice it's okay, but don't make it a thing of permanency. And the last mistake that you need to avoid is using numbered list and bulleted items. Now, research paper writing, academic writing means you cannot just put 1, 2, 3, 4 points and just leave it. You need to explain them thoroughly. If you keep one number, you need to write at least this much paragraph and explain it, because it is a research. It is not something storytelling. It is not something essay writing to keep a numbered list and leave like that. So instead of keeping numbers, you write paragraphs themselves. So that is why avoid, if at all, okay, you need to mention numbers. For example, these are the four problems I noticed, or something, and you want to mention number. Instead of that, you mention bulleted list, but try to avoid numbers and bullet list. Instead of that, write a paragraph about that. Okay, that's very important. So having said all these 7 mistakes, if you can avoid these 7 mistakes and write your research paper will be uh, excellent. People feel to read and they get what they want. Okay, for now, hope this video may be helpful. If it is helpful, don't forget to share this video and to the people around,